Hi everybody, welcome to another character guide. This one is for Azucena, and the goal of this guide and the other beginner guides is to get you into Fujin. I would classify Azucena as an all-rounder. June is sort of a defensive character, Anna is a more offensive character, Azu sits somewhere in the middle. I think this is a great character if you want to learn the foundations of Tekken. And then before we get started, make sure you understand basic Tekken notation. You don't need to understand all of it, but just make sure you know kind of like what 1, 2, 3, and 4 mean. Make sure you understand that Tekken is a stance-based fighter. Azu has different stances, as you can see here. You don't need to know all about them right now, we'll go over them, but just be aware that the game has stances in it. They change the input of the characters, and Azu is a stance character. Okay, so day one, you've just booted the game up. I would start with 3-3, which looks like this. This is a mid-high heat engager, and it's very good as like a spacing move. Like if you're up close, like say you're up in Dragunov's face here, you probably don't want to use it, but if you're back a little bit, if you're kind of like in this range, it's really good as kind of a keep out tool, as a whip punching tool. And again, also it's your heat engager. As a beginner, I would just send it. It's like you'll just want to use your heat smash. So usually you have heat smash, kind of heat burst and heat smash bound to a button. I play on PS5 controller. It'll depend if you're on leverless or kind of what your controller setup is. But yeah, usually it's the same button as this. So you would land 3-3, get into heat, and then as a beginner, just send it, and it looks like that. And if you do that every round, that's pretty good. Okay, so next, like if you're kind of far away, you want to use 3-3. If you're closer, there's sort of two options. I'll cover the mid first, and then we can talk about the high. The mid is down forward 1-4, which looks like this. This is similar to if you've watched the Anna guide or if you play Nina. June has it as well. A lot of characters have like a down forward 1 and then 2. Azu doesn't. Her equivalent of that is down forward 1-4, which is this. This is super good. This is her main kind of like when you go to take your turn, this is a good option to take your turn. As a beginner, it has two extensions. It has a high extension as a mid extension. I would just send the high extension, which looks like this. And so that's down forward 1-4-1, and she'll finish the string with this high punch. And again, as a beginner, I would do this as your turn. Until the opponent gets used to it. This is a really good turn. And what you're looking for is we'll set Dragunov up a little differently. We'll set him up so he's blocking, and then we'll set him up to, where is it? Here it is, punish. And we'll pick a punish. Where's our punishment here? We'll just pick something really basic. So fast high attack. And then we'll do this after 2 or more hits. So yes, it'll look like this. Yeah, and so we'll do it slowly. So if I just do down forward 1-4, he'll try to punch us. But if we didn't punch us that time, there he goes. We did it too fast. Okay, but if we do our full string, it looks like that, and you get a counter hit. And this is super important, especially at the beginning stages of the game, because people will mash. So this is why as a beginner, you just run it and you'll get this a lot. And so that brings us into kind of like our first combo. You can pick this counter hit up. There's a lot of different combos. Some are more optimal than others. As a beginner, I would keep it really simple, and it'll look like this. And that's a basic combo. You do 61 damage. So, you know, you're in the 60s in terms of damage. It's really easy. The move you're looking for, it's down 3-3-4, which looks like that. You won't want to use this in neutral because, as you can see there, it's -14 if they block it. So it's not really for neutral. It's a combo move. But yeah, it's down 3-3-4, and then the other one is forward 2-1-4. And it looks like that. We'll do it one more time. And so then anyways, putting it all together, this is what you're looking to do. And this is super important on this character. You'll want to like get the I'm gonna call it muscle memory. I don't know if it's technically muscle memory. You want to listen for the sound. Like that's like kind of what you're looking for. And like once you hear that, then you know that you can do this and convert it. So the next string we want to cover is 2-1, which looks like this. This is your fast string, so it's 10 frames. Like if we just do 2, 2 is a 10 frame jab. So you get this string out at 10 frames. And this is for people like if you need something quick, if they're like up in your face, like trying to like spam, this you can kind of press back against them. And again, similar to down forward 1-4-1, this also has an extension. 2-1-2 is the full string. This one, you get a full combo. This other one, you get like more pressure, so you can run up with something like that. Okay, excellent. These strings have different ducking mechanics. We'll start with 3-3. So if you block the first attack, if you block the mid, you can duck the high, which Dragunov is doing here. At the beginner rank, you can probably just send it, it's fine. However, as you get higher, people will do this, they can duck it and then punish you. The interesting thing is down forward 1-4, you cannot do this. As you can see, he can't duck the high in this string, which is very different than 3-3. And so what this means is down forward 1-4 is safer than 3-3. 2-1 is a little different since the high is first. It's high mid as opposed to mid high. So you can't really duck the mid anyways. However, if we switch to crouching, the first attack is duckable. Okay, excellent. The next thing to talk about is with the extensions. The extensions do not jail in any of these strings. So for instance, with 3-3, there is no extension, so it doesn't matter. With down forward 1-4-1, the first two attacks do jail, but then the extension is duckable. And then similarly, nothing really jails with 2-1-2, is the last attack is also duckable. But again, as a beginner, I would just run, I would run all these as a beginner. I would just run 3-3, I would run down forward 1-4-1, and I would also run 2-1-2, just because this type of defense is kind of a higher level defense, but I think it's important even as a beginner to be aware of, especially the fact that down forward 1-4 jails. So in this particular case, where if you have a more sophisticated opponent who can duck things, I would just run down forward 1-4 and then just run it again. So you do something like this to catch people, or maybe just even just run the mid. The other thing to note is down forward 1-4 has other extensions, or another extension. It has this, which is a mid. This is down forward 1-4-1-2. So it's 4 buttons, but the last 2 buttons you do very rapidly, almost as one input. So it looks something like that. But the last 1-2 in this, you have to press very fast. All right, we almost have a full game plan now. The next thing I would teach is some kind of low. Like, you always need a low. So I would just do down back 4. It's really simple. It looks like this. Okay, there's one last thing with this. Let's go in here. Let's go to defensive mode. Let's select, what is he on? Okay, excellent. He's on salvo. That's good. I think this is high mid-mid. Well, let's see. Yeah, high mid-mid. So the low crushes highs. So if we time it right, we can go under him. The high, not the mids. Yeah, see how it goes under his high? That's really important about this. The next move that's important is back 3. It looks like this. This is slower. You can't really spam this. Like, if people are mashing, which is what most people will do, you'll need to use like your down forward 1-4 or your 2-1. But if someone's slower, if you're playing against a more patient player, you can do this, which is also a heat engager. It's a heat engaging mid. It looks like this. The good thing about it, let's put Dragunov back to block. So standing block, that's fine. And we'll just do block. Okay. See at the frame data, this is +2. So if someone blocks this, you should take your turn again. So that would look something like this. You would do this. Again, these are really good turns, especially as a beginner. You're starting to like use your plus frames and kind of have a decent turn. Finally, let's cover Azucena's most iconic move, which is wall running through 2. It looks like that. It jails, so it's similar to down forward 1-4. If they block the first attack, they have to block the high. And again, similar to back 3, this is +2. Your wall running through 2 is also +2. So you should just take your turn again. This is really good, especially as a beginner. Just knowing that you have plus frames and you're trying to use them, really, really good. If, like, we'll start to get into it, this is more like into the next section, but if you hold forward after this, you'll get into your stance. And so we'll cover this more later, but for now, just in case, this is more like in case you get into the stance. It's same for back turn. Like if you end up in back turn, I would just hit 2. And again, it's the same for while running 3-2. If you end up in the stance, just press 2. Both those moves are really, really good. Forward 1+2 is your armor move. I don't really cover the armor moves, but I think I should. Azu's is really good. If you look at the frame data, it's only -9, so it's safe. But it's a high, so that's kind of the trade-off. It's a safe high. So as an example, like if we just put Dragunov into crouching, we'll put him into crouch block. This will miss. So that's kind of the trade-off. But as a beginner, I don't want to recommend that you spam it. I don't think you should spam it. But as a beginner, you have to get people to stop mashing, and so this is probably the easiest way to get people to stop mashing, and it's pretty good. And then finally, so normally in the other guides, I always like to teach a plus frame command throw. Azu doesn't really have a command throw. Well, she does. Hers is this, which is it's down 1+2, and you get up into stance, so you can get up and just do 2. So something like this. But this is kind of a gimmick, which is it's Tekken, so having a gimmick I think is good. I wouldn't rely on it too much, but just in case you need to, you have this. The interesting thing about this, it's similar to the low, or as if we put Dragunov back into doing salvo, you can get under this. Okay, excellent. So now you're kind of getting out of day 1, maybe you're in red rank, maybe orange rank, kind of somewhere in there. You need to kind of push a little further, get some more moves going. This is where I would start to kind of really get into the stances. We'll cover both of them real quick, and then we'll go into the moves that kind of lead into them. The first one is back turn. You can get into it by back 3+4, which looks like this. As a beginner, the only thing out of this that I would really press is 2, which looks like this. We'll move Dragunov out of block. We'll just do standing. If you're in back turn, if you hit 2 and then mash, you'll get this. It's very important. So then the other move out of back turn is just 3. It looks like that. Wait, we need to turn. Let's turn counter hit off. It's a little bit. we don't want to do counter hit part right now. You get into back turn, you hit 3, and then this also takes you into your other stance, which is Libertador Stance. You can get into this stance by pressing forward 3-4. Which looks like this. So there's sort of the opposite. Is back 3-4 is back turn, forward 3-4 is lib. In lib, similar to back turn, 2 is really, really good, which we covered a little bit earlier. So again, you have back turn 2, which is this, and then you have lib 2, which is your safe mid heat engager. And so that'll get you in heat again. You can do your heat smash. So maybe like putting it together, if you're in back turn, you can hit 3, and then 2, and then you're in heat, and then you can do your heat smash. Something like that's really, really strong at the beginner level. As it gets you kind of through your stances, it gets you into heat, you get to do your heat smash. It's very, very good. The other move that we'll look at is down 4-4. This is her sweep. So against, this is kind of your other low. So you have like down back 4, which is this, and then in stance, you have this. And that's really what I would start out with in lib and back turn. It's like if you're in back turn, mash 2 if you think they're going to duck, which is your mid. If you don't think they're going to duck, do this. You're into lib, and then you can do 4-4, or you can do 2. And that's really, really strong. One thing to note about back turn 3 is on counter hit. This is really important. If you counter hit this, once I set it up, if you counter hit this, you always want to press 2. If you look, you get a 2-hit combo for 41 damage. That's really, really important. You want to convert this every time. So if you hear the counter hit on that attack, you can get your mid heat engager, and then you get into heat. Very, very important. Something else that's also worth mentioning is you can grab out of lib. So sometimes just doing your basic 1+2 grab is actually really, really good. Okay, excellent. So now the next part is like, how do you get into these stances just without doing them straight out of neutral? I would start with down forward 1-4. Most of this, as Azucena's kind of game plan revolves around down forward 1-4. So here, normally you just want to send it. until you run into a player kind of like this where they're blocking a lot, or if they're ducking the 1, then you can stop early. So if you do down forward 1, 4, and then hold back, she'll stop in back turn. And this is really important. So from here you can do all of your back turn moves. So you can do your 2, or you can do your 3. And then you're in lib, and then you can do, in this case, since Dragunov is blocking all of our standing attacks, we can do our lows. Excellent. Next, you can just press 4 and get into back turn. It's very, very simple. You just press 4 and then you're in back turn, and then you can press 2, and then you can also press 3. So we have 2 lows currently. We have our sweep from lib stance, and then we have our down back 4. There's also a down back 3, which is very good. This is one of her best lows. If it hits, it's +4, which is really good. And it puts her into back turn. So from here, you can start to do stuff like this. If I could do it correctly. You can do that. Or you can just keep doing lows, and you can just do all lows. So against someone that never ever crouches and never wants to duck, you just have a full low, like knockdown kind of flow chart. We'll cover a couple more lib transitions. There is one out of down 1-4, as you might expect. This one's a cancel, so it's kind of tricky. It's down forward 1-4-1, so it's that. But you hold forward after the 1. So it looks like that. So it's down forward 1-4-1, but then hold forward. And then also, we briefly covered it, your wall running 3-2. If you hold forward, also get you into lib. So you can walk up into your low. Walk up into your mid. Excellent. So finally, it's kind of just some moves to round out this section that I think are important. The first is up 3-4, which looks like this. So if he blocks, yeah, we're +4, which is pretty good. Something like this is actually really good. This is like a good flow chart. Like if they block this, you can just grab. And the interesting thing about it is it hits from pretty far away. Like you can be like way back here. I think you can actually be further. That isn't far enough back. That's probably too far. Yeah, see, she almost gets him from there. But yeah, the range on this is pretty far. It's not full screen. But yeah, you can clip them with that second foot from pretty far away. And this is useful for people that are trying to like use like spacing and like keep you out. It's very linear though, is you can get sidestepped if you try to do this a lot, but it's really, really good. It transitions into both stances. So by default, you go into lib, and then you can do your lib mix-ups. If you hold back, you can get into back turn. So then you can do your back turn moves. It's very, very good. And then finally for this part of the guide, I'm going to put this in here. I don't use this a lot, but it's important to just know about. Her 1-1 transitions into stance. So if you need a quick way, like if you need a 10 frame way, 1-1 will get you in there. The problem with it, or where you have to be careful, is this is punishable. So you're -10 here. So depending on who you're playing against, if your opponent has good defense or if they know, it's particularly the Mishimas can knock you down at -10, or not all of them, but like Kazuya can. So you'll get knocked down for this. So normally you would use it as like a punish if you want, like if you want to do a 10 frame punish and then get into stance. But it's at least worth mentioning. I don't use it a lot, but it is a way to get into lib stance. Okay, excellent. And to round out this section, we'll cover the wall combo. It looks like that. We've already basically learned it. It's down forward 1-4 and then 1, but then you press 2 quickly after the 1. So it looks like this. It's actually 4 button inputs, but it's 3 attacks. So kind of putting it all together, you get a wall splat, and then you do that. There's other ones to this. This isn't the only one, but just as a beginner guide, just so you can start doing it. Pretty much like whenever you convert something into the wall, if you do that, you're doing pretty well. Her 10 frame punish, which is 1-2, also wall splats. So if you're learning your punishment game, which punishment is kind of out of scope of the beginner guide, but if you once you start to do it, you can then convert your wall combo into it. At this point, I would try to get some better combos and to optimize a few other areas. The combo that I would learn looks like this. that part of it right there is kind of like the tricky part. So you get up to 78 damage now. You're almost up to 80 damage off of your counter hit. And the moves are down forward 3, which is this knee. Down 2-3, which is this. And this transitions into lib. And then after that, it's lib 3+4, which is this move. And then this is probably the hardest part, is forward 3. The move is easy. Like, it's easy to do. But the link of it's kind of tough. When you do it in the combo, you kind of need to, like, run forward a little bit. So, like, you just can't, like, send it. You have to kind of, like, let her kind of, like, take a step and then do it. You need that step or it won't give you the combo. And then the rest of the combo is just forward 2 and 4, which we borrow from the other combo. So putting it all together, it's down forward 1, 4, 1, into down forward 3, into down 2, 3, live 3+4. You gotta get that link. I missed the link there. I don't know if I can do it while talking. That link is tough. There we go. Yeah, it's not super tough, but you'll probably have to lab that link. Because it's not as simple as just spamming. There's like a precise kind of input with it for it to get to you. But that's kind of what you're looking to do. And you can use this off of other things too. So it's fairly universal. Like for instance, you can just launch, just do your basic launch, and it'll work with this too. So what'll happen is as you get higher up, people know that you'll be looking for this because it's one of Azucena's really good moves. So they'll try to step it. Once they try to step it, you can do while running 4-4, which is a homing move, and it looks like that. There's some crouching moves we haven't talked about yet. So similar, if you're really new, if this is like kind of your day one and you've watched this far, crouching is kind of its own state, and so is while standing. So there's different moves in here. You can get into stance. We won't cover all of them. The main one that you're going to want is while standing 1, which looks like this. This is a counter hit. Okay, so how you use this, your goal is to use this. I would use down 1, which is this. It's her big mid. You need to be playing at someone that blocks a lot. Like if someone's like spamming you, again, you'll need to contest them with 2-1-2 or down forward 1-4. But if someone's patient, you can start to sort of slam this into them as they're blocking, which looks like this. So you're +4 on block, and it'll catch people. Is if people don't know you're a plus, you can start to get counter hits. And this is the same as like your down forward 1-4-1. So it's sort of the same as this. You can do this into this. Oh, I didn't time it right that time. It got clipped. But if you time it properly, and both of your combos work, depending on where you are with combos, you can do the more basic combo, or you can do the harder combo. Just kind of depending on where you're at as a player. But then there you go. You get 74 damage off of sort of a frame trap. And so then from here, if people are respecting you, which hopefully they are, hopefully you're being respected. If you're being respected, there's lows in this. So now you get more lows. So it's wall, it's full crouch, down forward 4, which is this. There's also a down forward 3, which is pretty good, but as a beginner, you probably should sit down forward 4. So you can do this into this, and then you come up into lib. So now you're back into lib. You can do all of your lib moves. One last thing in lib to experiment with too, while we're learning full crouch, is lib has a down 3, which is this. Again, it's +2, so it's similar to like these moves that we sort of covered from a while ago. So this and then lib down 3 are also +2. Lib down 3, you're in crouch, so you can start to do that. So sort of like this, and then also lib down 3 gets you into the same sort of like frame trap state, which is really strong. And then you can also do more lows. So you can do this, into this, into this, and it kind of like loops on itself. Finally, we'll cover a couple defensive options that Azu has. The first is 1+2, which looks like this. You wouldn't notice this, but this actually, she's ducking highs. So as an example, you can do this. I think you set up right. Yeah, so he'll punch us back. So if you do this, it ducks the high, and it's a counter hit. So this gets you kind of into our combos that we've discussed. And I drop it. but the concept's really good against the right player. If you have the read, this move is very, very good. There's a similar move, which is also a punch Sabaki. This is up forward 1. I don't really use it a lot. It's good against Steve. It's like this move is your friend against Steve. But outside of that, I don't use it too much. Up 3 is wheel kick, which looks like this. This is a full combo as well. So you can do this into the combos that we covered, and then away you go. It's good because it jumps over lows. Yeah, so it'll jump the low. Again, it's even hard to time against this. That's why it's kind of hard to use. But if you do have a read, this goes into either combo that you want. So you can do this combo, or you can do this combo. And then finally, I don't know if I should show this, but I'm gonna show it. You have to promise me you're not gonna spam it. You can't spam it. It's her backswing blow, which looks like this. It's down back 3+4. Don't spam it. It's launch punishable on block, but it does have a place. This is just a random. It's not even a real example, but this is like what it's kind of supposed to do. So it's like if you have something like this where you have a read, you can do something like that. Some other odds and ends, we put Dragon up on the ground. Forward 3 is your move that gets people up off the ground. This is useful if you want to apply ground Okizeme, but it's also good against bear players. You sort of always need to figure out your character's anti-bear move. There we go. I think that covers most of the character. This should be enough, I think, to get you to Fujin. Down forward 1-4 is most of the character. You want to lean into this. This is really, really good for Azu. And then all the variations, like you want to get into stuff like this. You want to get into even like going just straight into live. And then from there, getting into stuff like this, getting into the full crouch is really, really good. Like this stuff is so good. And then trying to fish for counter hits. It's very important. I'm trying to think if we missed anything. We didn't really cover what to do if someone's stepping you. I would just use basic throw. As a beginner, just do basic throw. Most people trying to do defensive step at the beginner ranks, you'll just catch them with your strings. Your strings and just pressing buttons will follow them around and they won't be able to step it anyways. You also have back 2, which looks like this. This is plus on block, by the way. So that is something to note. But again, I wouldn't use this a lot unless someone is actually good at stepping. And that, I think, that covers most of it. There's some like edge cases that I don't, as a beginner guide, I would focus on these fundamentals. But I guess just to be aware, we're not going to cover them all. We're going to probably wrap the guide up pretty soon. I wouldn't be super worried about like, okay, it's like, how do I optimize this? Like, you know, I don't know. I don't think that's the right way to go. Is like, so yeah, I'm gonna wrap it there, but just be aware that as you progress, like I would look at the move list, specifically at the heat moves. That's, this type of stuff is what's missing. But again, like the problem with these is once you get into those, the combos are different. You need to learn like specific combos for those, like your routing changes. So I wouldn't worry about that. It's more about like spacing, landing this, doing your heat smash, and you'll be good to go. As always, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you get into blue ranks, and good luck out there.